Leadership. This course is designed to enable you to describe the main approaches to leadership, explain how lack of leadership may cause accidents, outline the unique aspects of leadership in the maritime industry, describe how to improve teamwork and employee engagement, give examples of leading through difficult times, and describe how to facilitate conflict resolution. At the end of this course, there is an assessment. These questions are assessed and have a 70% pass mark, so please pay close attention and think carefully about your answers. Is leadership something you're born with, or something you can learn? There's no simple answer to this question, but it defines the difference between the three main approaches in the study of leadership. According to the trait leadership approach, leadership is a quality arising from inborn traits that cannot be learned. Supporters of this view believe that strong leaders have influential talents, such as appearance, voice, vitality, mental spirit, or creativity. The behavioral leadership approach, on the other hand, defines leadership as a set of behaviors that can be trained, and therefore no specific innate traits are needed. Defenders believe that great leaders can be made through education on optimal or necessary behaviors. The contingency leadership approach, also called situational leadership approach, builds on the behavioral leadership approach. However, this view reckons that no leadership skills can be identified as optimal, but rather depend on the situation or context. What is leadership? Do you think leadership is influencing others to achieve a specified awareness? Or do you think leadership is influencing others to go through a certain process? According to the International Maritime Organization, IMO, leadership is a process whereby an individual influences a group of individuals to achieve a common goal. A leader can carry on this process by applying their leadership knowledge and skills. Leadership can apply at all levels, but what is required is followers. The STCW Code is the International Convention on Standards of Training, Certification, and Watchkeeping for Seafarers. The STCW Code no longer focuses exclusively on technical skills. The Manila Amendments of the Code introduced competence requirements for leadership and managerial skills at both the operational and management levels. This applies to both junior and senior officers. Lack of leadership has been a contributing factor in many maritime incidents. Let's take a look at some examples of accidents. Select each of the links to learn more. In 1997, the cargo vessel Green Lily grounded off the Shetland Islands in severe weather. One rescue man was lost from the rescue helicopter. In 1999, the cargo vessel Dole America collided with the Nab Tower in the eastern approach of the Solent near the Isle of Wight, England. In 2004, the chemical tanker Bow Mariner caught fire and exploded during tank cleaning. The ship sank off the coast of Virginia. The accident resulted in the loss of 3 crew members and 18 missing persons, with substantial spills of ethyl alcohol and fuel. In 2012, the passenger vessel Costa Concordia collided with a rock and finally grounded at the Giglio Island in the Mediterranean Sea. The grounding resulted in 32 victims. Now let's take a look at the accident reports from these accidents to see what they indicated about leadership gone wrong. Select each of the links to learn more. The Green Lily accident report indicated that the master had failed to consider the worst predicted weather conditions. In addition, the crew members avoided confronting the master's decisions, suggesting an autocratic style of leadership. The Dole America collision was caused by the master's inappropriate and unquestioned manoeuvring. This ship's crew were very culturally diverse. Lack of bridge teamwork and lack of discussions with the master were part of the error chain. The Bow Mariner accident was caused by failure of the operator and the senior officers of the vessel to properly implement the company and vessel safety, quality, and environmental protection management system, SQEMS. Moreover, the shipboard culture was characterized by the master's absolute authority. The master's lack of leadership was one of the most critical causes of the Costa Concordia grounding, after making a hazardous passage in shallow waters. The master and bridge officers did not apply the Safety Management System, SMS, procedures. The designated person ashore, DPA, did not plan to apply the abandoned ship procedure. To sum up, common adverse factors of the described accidents were lack of teamwork, lack of communication, and lack of training, resulting in failed handling of the situation. We'll go through how to improve these leadership factors later in the course. The following are some examples of failed maritime leadership. An officer does not give second engineers any administrative duties. An officer gives orders verbally daily, thereby denies the staff to plan their work. An officer does not delegate any tasks or duties to junior officers. And a chief officer does not attempt to train the junior officers to perform any of their tasks. Some aspects of leadership are unique to the maritime industry, and we need to consider those contextual differences in order to develop efficient maritime leadership. Let's take a look at the unique characteristics of the international maritime context. The unpredictable nature of a sea passage demands a higher level of situational awareness than an aviation passage, which involves more control and strict regulations. Situation handling can be trained on a ship by using interventions, which consist of challenges that demand improvised behavior to face a certain condition. The transitory nature of the ship's crew, where teams are constantly changing due to leave rotations, can differ from other industries. The workload is unstable due to changing weather, voyage duration, cargo operation, and available support. The ship's use of handover from one team to the next is more widespread. These handovers may need to be enhanced as required. The communication is very diverse because of cultural diversity in the crew and because of less use of standard phrases. The globalization of the maritime industry leads to organizational, professional, and national concerns. What makes a good maritime leader? Leadership skills can be a combination of both trainable skills and not so trainable qualities. It is useful to understand what types of skills are favoured by maritime managers. One of the IMO model courses covers the STCW requirements for the application of leadership and teamworking skills. The STCW Manila Amendments introduced mandatory competency requirements for deck and engineering officers in bridge and engine room resource management. These amendments include the application and use of leadership, managerial, and teamworking skills. The amendments recognise the need for effective communication on board and ashore, and the importance of assertiveness and leadership, including motivation. The aim is for seafarers to improve the following skills: communication, team building, situational awareness, decision-making, and conflict management. So what do ship management companies regard as the ultimate ship manager? The virtues and skills commonly associated with an effective ship manager include professional integrity, meaning a person who is consistent in their values and methods, usually being truthful in motivation for their actions. Excellent people skills, meaning managing people on board and ashore, including negotiating with ease and being attentive to cultural differences. Being one of the team, meaning someone who has been on board. Having experienced hardship at sea may add the needed respect from and empathy for the crew. Both are needed in relation to difficult decisions. And managerial skills, meaning making life at sea easier. Being in charge includes time management, computer skills, and media awareness. In order to be a good leader, knowing the strengths and weaknesses of the specific crew is a good place to start. Be attuned to whether they're tired or under stress. Schedule crew rotations and onshore support individually. A self-aware leader tends to listen to valuable feedback and is therefore able to stay flexible and positively develop their behavior. Self-awareness means being able to note and stay mindful of your own thoughts, emotions, and values. Are you a self-aware leader? Instead of asking you such a huge question, let's see how you evaluate yourself based on some suitable descriptions. In each case, decide which one of the two statements you agree with. Recognizing that you can learn something from any crew member. Staying curious is one way to stay open and lead with integrity. When putting together the desired qualities of a maritime leader, we learn that a good leader at sea is engaged, communicative, collaborative, upstanding, and empowering. What do these qualities imply? An engaged leader is evidently eager to get better and better for the good of the whole team. Being communicative is necessary to be a strong leader. This often implies making sure all crew members know what is expected of them at any time. A collaborative leader promotes a strong teamwork spirit on the whole vessel by showing that mariners need each other to complete all tasks. Being upstanding means to be fair and ethical in a way that draws respect for you as a person, not just as a mariner. You can be an empowering leader by placing confidence in your subordinates and embracing new ideas. This includes pointing out the leadership skills you see in others. What is the difference between teamwork and team building? Teamwork is the process of working collaboratively with a group of people in order to achieve a goal. Team building is the ability to identify and motivate individual employees to form a team that stays together, works together, and achieves together. A great maritime leader promotes teamwork among all the crew members. This is team building. You can empower people around you by letting each of them contribute, thereby enabling the crew to become more than the sum of its members. Good interpersonal relationships among seafarers is a must. It's good advice to avoid politics on a ship. In order to enhance interpersonal relationships between the people on board, you can arrange morning meetings, tea breaks, on-board training sessions, and social activities. How can you promote teamwork in practice? Here are some actions you can take. Encourage open and honest communication. You can achieve this by asking people to share their views and letting them ventilate difficulties. Create collaborative goals. The crew may know the main goals for the ship or company, but what achievements are needed to get there? You can plan this in cooperation. The goals should be written down, visible, tracked, and appropriately celebrated when they're reached. See the big picture. Even if you need to keep an eye on the details, remember that your main task is to focus on the overview and keep track of the main goals. Build strong one-on-one relationships. Allow the crew members to problem solve. What do we mean by that? Instead of presenting the solution, you can encourage team members to brainstorm and come up with their own suggestions. By giving your team space to find the right solution and propose their ideas, you can empower them to think creatively develop their confidence, and foster a sense of ownership. A common concept in communication theory is to categorize communication in 4 different styles. The aggressive, passive, and passive-aggressive styles are, as you might expect, not recommended. The assertive style, on the other hand, is the endorsed communication style. An assertive communicator clearly states their opinions and speaks for what they want without violating the rights of others. Speaking in an assertive way is usually featured by hand gestures and a calm or happy face. An assertive communication style supports mutual respect and collaboration. In addition, as an assertive communicator, you may also experience the following benefits for yourself: higher self-esteem, good self-awareness, and clear goals and expectations for the crew. In order to be an assertive communicator, you can express your feelings clearly, prioritize teamwork and connection, ask for feedback, and have straightforward and respectful conversations. An aggressive communicator is verbally or physically abusive, while a passive communicator often fails to assert for themselves. Let's check your understanding of the assertive communication style, which is the favored style. Which of the following behaviors do you think are examples of assertive communication? When you're happy with your answers, please press the Submit button. Sorry, that's incorrect. The correct answers are being shown for you now. Assertiveness allows us to take care of ourselves and is fundamental for good mental health and healthy relationships. An engaged crew member will invest in their tasks and take responsibilities outside their job description. Moreover, an engaged crew member may stay longer with the company and is also more likely to emerge as a valuable leader. You can improve employee engagement in your crew members if you give them time for training, check in often to ask for individual feedback, and frequently discuss the progress in the team or group. Bear in mind that an engaged seafarer is able to confidently answer the following questions. Do you know what is expected of your work? Do you have the training and resources to thrive in your role? Do you often receive praise and constructive criticism? Do you trust your manager and believe they speak up for you? And is your voice heard and valued? As a maritime leader, you may need to make tough decisions to improve a difficult situation. Remember that the crew members need to feel heard, understood, recognized, and appreciated by their managers. Here's how to lead your team through tough times. Communicate transparently. Do not try to shield anyone from what's going on. During times of crisis, clear communication, good or bad, may determine how a group reacts and moves forward. Share your vision for the future. Be clear about how the team or company plans to move forward. You should also ask your crew members how you can support them. Celebrate large and small wins. Remind your team that their work is valuable, especially in difficult times. Ask for honest feedback. Ask direct and engaging questions about how the crisis affects them and what changes they would suggest. Let's take a look at some colleague types that are commonly regarded as difficult. A passive-aggressive person expresses hidden anger by postponing tasks on purpose or repeatedly showing up late. A combative person works against other crew members behind their back or constantly criticizes others. A complainer grumbles all the time about the work situation. A slacker may look busy but passes responsibilities on to other crew members and still takes credit for them. A simply different person can be totally different to you or the rest of the team. For example, much more or much less social, or much slower or faster. You can ignore difficult behavior if it doesn't negatively impact you or the team. Otherwise, you need to handle this kind of behavior. Be aware that a constant complainer can be frustrated, bored, very stressed, or unhappy at work. You may deal with a slacker by giving them concrete project goals and deadlines. Let's check your understanding of difficult colleagues and toxic colleagues. A toxic colleague is a person that can adversely influence the team by negatively impacting the quality of their colleagues' work. Which of the following do you think are examples of toxic people? When you're happy with your answers, please press the Submit button. Sorry, that's incorrect. Even though all of the examples can be regarded as difficult people. The examples of toxic people are being shown for you now. Indeed, difference can be a problem, since a different person can be a challenge for you to understand or include in the crew. A very different crew member is a difficult colleague, but not an aggressive or toxic one. Including different types of people can instead be very valuable for the team. Conflict can occur between two people or between two groups. The workplace can become a toxic environment when leaders allow conflict to fester rather than confront it head-on. The best time to act is when there is evidence that a behavior is negatively impacting the performance of others. Then you must confront the tension head-on. Actions for effective conflict management include the following. 1. Identify the needs of each party. This allows you to respect differences and ultimately see the solutions. 2. Know what you want to achieve. This allows you to compromise on the less critical issues. 3. Explain how decisions will be made to resolve the conflict. And 4. Recognize and reward successful conflict management. Remember that conflict resolution is about seeing opportunities that others don't see. Unfortunately, many leaders are resistant to taking a bit of time for themselves. Self-care should be part of the job. Self-care does not only include caring for your physical health, but also caring for your mind, emotions, relationships, environment, time, and resources. Here are some tips for taking care of yourself as a leader. Seek feedback on how you show up in various situations. This may give you an outside view of your communication style and behavior patterns. Keep a journal to understand your internal triggers and how you're responding. And follow your values to keep your professional life in balance. By knowing your values, personality, needs, habits, and emotions, and how they affect your actions and the actions of others, you'll be more able to manage your stress, make better decisions, and ultimately lead others to do the same. Well done! You've almost completed this course. You should now be able to describe the main approaches to leadership, explain how lack of leadership may cause accidents, outline the unique aspects of leadership in the maritime industry, describe how to improve teamwork and employee engagement, give examples of leading through difficult times, and describe how to facilitate conflict resolution. Select the Next button to begin the end-of-course assessment. These questions are assessed and have a 70% pass mark, so please pay close attention and think carefully about your answers.